What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here. Boy, hip hop game is going out sad, ain't it? I just learned today that the so-called legendary DJ Tim Westwood is now under investigation for a string of 6 complaints that consist of bullying, sexual misconduct, and different incidents that took place between the years of 1994 and 2013. All right, so that's 20 years of effed up behavior that are being investigated now by his former radio station, BBC Radio 1, and it's also being brought to the courts. And it's not a good look. It's not a good look for radio DJs. It's not a good look for hip hop. And it's dang sure not a good look for Tim Westwood, somebody who has a string of classic freestyles, classic interviews, and just, a bunch of historical footage that lives in the hip hop gallery of things that happen. I mean, from Eminem, Royce 5'9", Jay-Z, Kanye, Drake. So many moments embedded in hip hop's memories. And now we've got this DJ who he stopped working for the station. He's kind of gone off into obscurity a little bit. I think he still has his IG page or whatever, but he stepped down from his position. So let's get into this whole situation and see what really transpired, or get as much from it as we can until more news is updated. All right. So as I stated before, the BBC said they will publish an internal investigation into bullying and sexual misconduct allegations against radio presenter Tim Westwood within the next 2 weeks. All right, the DJ, who was a BBC radio presenter for almost 20 years, stepped down from his show on Capital Extra in April after accusations by several women of sexual misconduct and predatory behavior. The claims were uncovered by a joint investigation involving The Guardian and the BBC. The BBC's Director General Tim Davie had initially insisted that in its records the BBC had no evidence of complaints against Westwood, who worked for the corporation between 1994 and 2013. Facing an objection over its handling of a Freedom of Information request, the corporation then backtracked and admitted it had received 6 complaints concerning the presenter's tenure at the BBC relating to allegations of bullying or sexual misconduct, including one that had been referred to the police. So initially they went into it and kind of was writing it off, and it seemed safe, like, this is just some BS, don't worry about it. But then they went into their records and was like, ooh, there is some dirt here. Now, I don't know how real that is, man. These people be knowing what be going on. All right, we just gonna keep it like that. People at these big corporations, they be knowing what's going on, and they be letting folks get away with it until it get too out of hand. And then when the media gets a hold of it, that's when they start backtracking and acting like they ain't know nothing. But they knew. There's no way that I can prove it. But if you ever been around it, seen it, anything like that, I mean, we all see questionable activities in the workplace all the time. And how many of y'all turn a blind eye to it like, at least it ain't me? You feel me? So we already know the deal. This particular complaint was historical and did not relate to an allegation of physical assault, adding that it would be in a position to say more when its investigation had concluded. So they finna start moving some things around to try to clean this man's name. The police declined to comment on whether they have received or how they had handled any referral. Westwood has strongly denied the allegations of the 7 women who featured in the original investigation in April. Lawyers acting for Westwood said at the time that he was a well-respected and highly successful DJ. They said he denied in their entirety the serious allegations being made against him, saying they were false and defamatory, and said he wanted to make it clear that he did not behave in the manner described. If you ever seen a Tim Westwood interview or freestyle, he be making some sly comments, man. He be saying some wild stuff. Now, as far back as 2020, the 64-year-old DJ said that claims of inappropriate behavior made against him at the time on social media were fabricated, false, and without foundation. A spokesperson for Westwood previously said in April there had been no official or unofficial complaints against him in his career, which had been formally debunked when the BBC went into their records. Tim Davie continued in his own statement saying, "We take this very seriously. I want to ensure anyone who's got anything to bring relating to the BBC or time spent at the BBC, we fully investigate. We have an internal audit separate to myself working to the senior independent director, Nick Sirota, going through now responding to anything that is coming into us. I don't want to give a running commentary on that. It is not because I am lacking in transparency. It is just we want to do that work and then we will come back. And I think what we would do is publish something and summarize exactly to the questions. Now, the latest in this developing story is that a woman came out. They identified her as Esther. I'm not sure if that's her real name, but she came out and said that Tim Westwood used to have sex with her on several occasions in the early 1990s, starting when she was just 14 years old. Which, of course, is below the age of consent in England and in America. The DJ, Tim Westwood, who's now 64, was already in his 30s at that time. This lady Esther says, "I sit here today and face what I've been running from for a long time," she said while describing the former BBC Radio 1 hip-hop DJ as a predator. Westwood has yet to respond to these particular allegations. She said that she met him at his club nights in Southeast London in the early 1990s, and they exchanged numbers despite him being aware of her age. Months later, they agreed to meet up, and Westwood drove her to a flat in West London where he kissed her. It progressed from there, she told the BBC. "We had sex." Esther claims that Westwood would call her at her home after 6 p.m., knowing her mother worked night shifts, and arranged to meet up. "I never gave consent, but I never said no either, so I just went along with it." The relationship ended when Esther turned 16, and she described feeling groomed by the DJ. The experience greatly impacted her mental health and later led to her attempting to take her own life. Another victim who worked for Westwood's promotional street team in 1999 was also 15 years old when he allegedly kissed her, while another claims she was 16 when the DJ started a controlling relationship with her. So not only are we talking about misconduct, but we're talking about dealing with underage women, multiples at this point. And just like we've seen with other people in this type of situation, Tim Westwood has stepped down from his position, right? We saw that with Russell Simmons with his investigation. He stepped down from All Def Digital that he was running at the time they completely sold the company in order to get that removed from his name in order to keep it afloat. We saw the same with Harvey Weinstein and his company. We've seen it with numerous others that when it start getting too hot, they go ahead and separate ways. Like, yo, lay low. And if you come out clean, you could come back. If not, here's a severance. Go have at it in life. You know what I mean? So this is a developing case. We'll see if he ends up being convicted or found guilty in these allegations. It's pretty sad, man, just knowing that this type of stuff consistently goes on just around the world. Not even so much just in hip hop and music, but just period. Like, this stuff should not be happening, yo. Grown men in their 20s, 30s, etc. should not be dealing with women below the age of 18, man. It's just ridiculous, fam. It really is. And to be honest, it's hard to really take the side of anybody that gets found in these types of situations, because it's just like, dog, all you gotta really do is mess with women in your bracket. That's all it really take. Like, it's not hard to like make a really hard line that says 21 and up, just to keep yourself out of murky waters. You feel me? Now, of course, we've seen some questionable remarks from DJ Academics that were released earlier this year, maybe a month or so ago. He was talking about how, if she's got a college ID, regardless of her age, she's getting laid, all of this type of stuff. And it just goes to show the predatory nature and just like the really off base mentality that a lot of men have, man. And we gotta put an end to this, man. Like, we gotta really start honing in on this. Like, this is something that we gotta start maybe addressing in school. Like, if somebody approaches you, they're an adult, they're giving you creepy vibes, like, let somebody know what's going on. Stop keeping it to yourself. And we gotta really educate these parents and these family members too, to not shun your child or shun your close loved ones when they trying to tell you something. Stop thinking folks always lying or playing or just trying to get people in trouble. Like, actually listen. actually, you know, at the very least, look into it. If it's found that it's not true, at least you tried. At least you did something. But just turning blind eye to this stuff, man, it's kind of crazy to me. At any rate, man, go ahead, like and share this video. And let me know your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Do you think he did it? Do you think he didn't? Do you think that this is a maybe he was trying to buy the BBC? Right? I don't know, man. But I'll see y'all on the next video. All right? Much love and respect. Peace.